Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
The personality of Godhead said.
The personality of Godhead said.
Asamshayam.
Asamshayam.
Undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly.
Mahabaho.
Mahabaho.
O mighty armed one.
O mighty armed one.
Manaha.
Manaha.
The mind.
The mind.
Dunigraham.
Dunigraham.
Difficult to curb.
Difficult to curb.
Chalam.
Chalam.
Flickering.
Flickering.
Abhyasena.
Abhyasena.
By practice.
By practice.
To. But. Kaunteya.
Kaunteya.
O son of Kunti.
O son of Kunti.
Vairagena.
Vairagena.
By detachment.
By detachment.
Sha. Also. Griyate.
Griyate.
Can be controlled.
Can be controlled.
Translation. Lord Sri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. Now we can read the purport. The difficulty of controlling the obstinate mind is expressed by Arjuna, is accepted by the personality of Godhead. But at the same time, he suggests that by practice and detachment it is possible. What is that practice? In the present age, no one can observe the strict rules and regulations of placing oneself in a sacred place, focusing the mind on the Super-Soul, restraining the senses and mind, observing celibacy, remaining alone, etc. By the practice of Krishna consciousness, however, one engages in 9 types of devotional service to the Lord. The first and foremost of such devotional engagements is hearing about Krishna. This is a very powerful transcendental method for purging the mind of all misgivings. The more one hears about Krishna, the more one becomes enlightened and detached from everything that draws the mind away from Krishna. By detaching the mind from activities not devoted to the Lord, one can very easily learn Vairagya. Vairagya means detachment from matter and engagement of the mind and spirit. Impersonal spiritual detachment is more difficult than attaching the mind to the activities of Krishna. This is practical because by hearing about Krishna, one becomes automatically attached to the Supreme Spirit. This attachment is called Parishanubhava, spiritual satisfaction. It is just like the feeling of satisfaction a hungry man has for every morsel of food he eats. The more one eats while hungry, the more one feels satisfaction and strength. Similarly, by the charge of devotional service, one feels transcendental satisfaction as the mind becomes detached from material objectives. It is something like curing a disease by expert treatment and appropriate diet. Hearing of the transcendental activities of Lord Krishna is therefore expert treatment for the mad mind, and eating the foodstuff offered to Krishna is the appropriate diet for the suffering patient. This treatment is the process of Krishna consciousness. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Asamshayam Mahabaho Manudunigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyat Griyate. Lord Sri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by a suitable practice and by detachment. Actually, now I read 35. So we can also do 36. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. So we can see that whatever type of yoga practice you choose, there are many different kinds. But Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita the process of nishkama, kama yoga, jnana yoga, and ashtanga yoga, so many different kriya yoga, different types of yoga systems, practices are being described. But whatever, and of course bhakti yoga, not to forget, most important, bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness. So whatever type of yoga system, the center is always the mind. The mind has to be brought under control. That's the whole purpose of yoga system, any type of yoga system, to control the mind. And of course Arjuna stated in these verses, sequence of verses, that Lord Krishna, this is very, very difficult for me to practice this Ashtanga yoga system. At that time, people used to practice this very, very difficult system of yoga. Nowadays, nobody can practice any longer. But at that time, it was possible. And naturally, as a warrior, Kshatriya, Arjuna thought this is not possible for me. Chanchala mihi mana Krishna, mamati balavadridham. He explained that my mind is so restless, just like the wind. Now how can you stop the wind blowing? I think here you also have a lot of wind, no?
Not so much.
Not so much.
Surrounded by hills.
Winter time,
Wind is there, but it's not.
Wind is there. Wind is there. Anyway, you know wind. When the wind is blowing, you cannot just go out, stretch out your arms and try to stop the wind. How can you do this? Huh? Wind blowing, you cannot stop. Because it's so powerful, so forceful and subtle. You cannot block the wind. And similarly, Arjuna compared his mind to a strong wind, powerful wind. Abhyasena. But then Krishna, he agreed, yes, it is very difficult, but still, abhyasena to count, vairagena chadriyate. Abhyasa means to practice, constantly practice. This is any type of yoga system. You have to practice, 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 practice. Like the pranayama process, not so easy. You have to practice, practice, practice. Formerly, the yogis, they practice for such a long time because the whole idea is to neutralize the breathing process. Huh? Kumbhaka, and then Kumbhaka, come to the stage of Kumbhaka, you stop breathing. 10 minutes, then 1 hour, up to 4 hours. And nowadays who can do? You will die. 4 hours. And then after 4 hours, these mystic yogis not breathing, then they develop this Vayu Siddhi, mystic power. They can levitate in the air, like just take off. No airplane needed, no car. You just go. So this, again, practice, practice, practice. Anything else in ordinary life, you want to learn some instrument, how to play piano, you have to practice. You cannot just sit down and play a symphony. You have to practice, 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 practice. Same thing with the yoga system, Krishna consciousness. We practice bhakti yoga. That Krishna also gradually explains to Arjuna that you do not need to practice some complicated yoga process. You practice bhakti. And then bhakti means devotion to Krishna, rendering service to Krishna, devotional service, chanting Krishna's name, Hare Krishna, eating, taking prasadam, all these, hearing about Krishna. Srila Prabhupada stressed the importance of hearing. Naturally, whatever we hear throughout the day, and that will linger in our mind. This will influence our thoughts, our desires, our dreams at night, naturally. If you do something throughout the day, at night you also tend to dream about similar related topics, mixed up of course. You see a mountain, you see a little piece of gold, and then you dream at night, you see a golden mountain, like this. That's the idea. So naturally when we hear about Krishna, we also begin to think about Krishna, remember Krishna, dream about Krishna. It is all possible. Such an easy, simple process. So easy that Arjuna had doubts. Because he knew that there are great yogis, like this Durvasa Muni, great, mystic, powerful yogi, so many others. And Krishna, are you saying that the simple bhakti yogi, chanting Hare Krishna, thinking of Krishna, that he is on the same level or even higher? That is difficult to believe. But Krishna confirmed at the end of this 6th chapter, Yoginam, have no doubts Arjuna, Yoginam api sarvesham. Among all the yogis, sarvesham means all yogis. Durvasa Muni also, Ashtanga, yes. Doesn't matter what. Name any yogi. This bhakti yogi, he is superior. How is he superior? And this is why we have the amazing story of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni, that mystic, powerful yogi. And he thought, I'm superior. What is this king? Some engaged in all these worldly activities, so many mundane duties he has family. I'm a mystic, powerful yogi. Let me teach him a lesson. But he lost. How come that such a simple bhakti yogi is more powerful? Because he has Krishna behind him. Yoga Ishvara, Yogeshvara. The Lord Krishna, he is the supreme yogi. All the mystic powers, they exist in him, in fact emanate from him. Any yogi, he simply borrows the power emanating from Krishna. Nobody is more powerful than Krishna. That he displayed very clearly, even in his childhood pastimes. These demons, asuras, Putana, and so many others, they try to attack Krishna. They were all annihilated, killed by Krishna. Matas, Bhagavad Gita, Mata Parataram, Nanyat, Kinchidasti Dhananjaya. There's no one, no truth superior to Krishna. He is the last word in transcendence. Nothing superior. What about Lord Shiva? Very powerful Lord Shiva? No. He clearly described he's constantly meditating on the lotus feet of Vishnu, of Krishna. Vaishnavanam Jata Shambhu. Shambhu, another name for Lord Shiva. He is also a devotee, Vaishnava, devotee of Krishna. Anybody, Durga Devi, very powerful. They're all surrendered to Lord Krishna's supreme dominion over everything. This is why Arjuna, he wanted to see how powerful Krishna really is. He wanted to experience the opulence, the amazing opulence and power of Krishna, being the cause of all causes. And this is why Krishna displayed his universal form. Just see. Even as a child, Mother Yashoda looked into the mouth of Krishna and she could see all the planetary systems, whole universe containing in Krishna. There's nothing superior to Krishna. He is what people here in the Western countries, what they call God. That is Krishna. God is simply a title, isn't it? God is a title. But Krishna, that's the name. Hare Krishna. Krishna, that's the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has a name. This Krishna conscious philosophy is so wonderful. No more speculation, no guesswork. Everything is clearly explained. One time Srila Prabhupada even mentioned that we do not only know the name of Krishna, I mean of God, Krishna. We also know his address. His address. And then Prabhupada was joking, he said, and we also know his phone number. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. And Krishna will reciprocate, he will respond. We know everything. Just the other day we talked about these 5 main relationships that people can have with Krishna, devotees, living entities, can have with Krishna. But that knowledge you don't find anywhere else. There's just one basic understanding. The God is all powerful and we have to be very respectful and almost fearful toward Him. Because if we are not, He will punish us. And that is not very good. That's the one relationship, generally. But that you can have a different other relationships. You can play with God. You can wrestle with Him. You can climb on His shoulders. Impossible. That information you don't have. You can be a lover. You can have a conjugal relationship with God. You can have the relationship of a parent. He becomes your child. That information you don't have. Srimad Bhagavatam, so many detailed descriptions. What a detailed, wonderful philosophy. We are so fortunate that we came in contact with this amazing philosophy, culture and practice of Krishna consciousness. After so many lifetimes it is described in the Bhagavad Gita. So many bahunam, jamanam, anti, jnanavan man prapatyate, vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudulabha. That is only preserved normally for the most fortunate souls who are life after life speculate about the absolute truth, trying this, trying that. But if they are very sincere, they might come to the conclusion, Krishna, He is everything. So what is our qualification? And still, we receive that tremendous treasure of Krishna consciousness. We should always feel very, very grateful, practice enthusiastically to whatever capacity possible for us. We are all individuals, not one homogeneous mass of people. We are all individuals. Some can practice more, some less. But to whatever degree practice, that's the point. Take full advantage of this human form of life. Otherwise it will be gone. A few more years we have, and then what? Then what will happen? We don't know, we have no idea. But if we practice Krishna consciousness, our future will be bright. This is guaranteed by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who surrenders unto me, Krishna states, I will protect him. I will supply whatever he requires or she requires. Anything lacking, I will supply. Anything in possession, I will protect. And Krishna promises. But unfortunately we think, no, I know better. We are trying so many things, and again, all our plans are being baffled. Is it not? Taking them to pieces. We are planning for the next holidays. I want to enjoy somewhere. And then you go, always something happens. You end up in a traffic jam for 10, 12 hours in one spot. You're wondering, what am I doing? You travel all the way to Spain, you want to have some holidays in Spain, and then exactly that 1 week you have a break, it rains every day. Always something happening. Or imagine, this is also happening, people have car accidents. In Germany, the statistic is in Germany, I'm from Germany originally. In Germany, between 13, maybe now more, I don't know, but long ago, between 13 and 16,000 people die in car accidents every year. That also happens. Whole family, we go on holiday, car crash. All dreams are gone in 1 second, finished. No guarantee. Without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter at Krishna, you don't know what will happen. What guarantee we have? Anything can happen at any time. But surrendering to Krishna, then we have a foundation of security. Whoever is protected by Krishna, nothing in the entire 3 worlds can harm that person. We have the example of Prahlad Maharaj, small boy, 5 years old. What did he do wrong? Srila Prabhupada in one lecture, well, what did he do wrong? What was his fault? 5-year-old boy. His father, powerful demon, even terrorized the entire universe. All the demigods were afraid of him. But because small Prahlad wanted to surrender to Krishna, he was a Krishna devotee, and the father didn't like. He was an asura, a demon. They don't like devotees. And he even wanted to kill his own son because of that. But he couldn't do anything. Because he was protected by Krishna. So that guarantee we have, Krishna promises. Simply by surrendering unto him, hearing about Krishna, chanting his names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna will give full protection. We don't have to worry. There are 6 characteristics of bhakti, practicing Krishna consciousness. The first 2 related to the sadhana platform, practicing. Later on, of course, we make more and more advancement. We will come to the spontaneous platform of practicing Krishna consciousness. Beginning sadhana practice. So we have to follow strictly the rules, regulations, chant our rounds, eat prasadam, etc. Follow some rules, regulations. Even on that platform, you will experience kleshagni and shubhadha. Kleshagni means you literally experience it, all your sufferings of life, all these unpleasant things in your life, they begin to reduce, mitigate, go away. Already on that platform you can experience. All troublesome things in your life, it begins to fade away, disappear. And shubhadha, and everything becomes very, very auspicious. You feel that auspicious atmosphere in practicing Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Everything becomes very auspicious. Then of course if we further advance, so many more symptoms are there. All the way up to when the devotee develops his eternal, pure love for Krishna. In the beginning we develop some sympathy. Oh, I like Krishna consciousness, yeah, I like Krishna. But later on you begin to actually love Krishna. Your eternal love for Krishna begins to manifest more and more and more and more and more. And on that platform, there's so many more symptoms. Sandrananda Visheshatma. Sandrananda Visheshatma means you experience a bliss you cannot even describe in words. Such ecstasy, practicing Krishna consciousness, chanting Krishna's names, serving Krishna, thinking of Krishna. Sandrananda, you cannot, incredible bliss, ecstasy the devotee experiences. There's one example given. Parada Gunikritaha. Parada Gunikritaha. This is compared to the yogi. Again, these impersonal yogis, mystic yogis, they meditate on the effulgence of the Lord, something impersonal. Some try to meditate on the void. That of course doesn't work. Void means nothing. So what do you meditate on? How can you meditate on nothing? Meditation means there must be something you meditate on. Anyway, they try. And they sometimes experience Brahmananda, some kind of advanced, spiritual bliss. But that spiritual bliss, Brahmananda, they experience in comparison to the bliss a devotee experiences on the platform of pure love for Krishna, you cannot even compare. The example is given, it is samadhi. If it's such a mystic impersonal yogi is in samadhi for half lifetime of Brahma, he experiences that bliss. Half lifetime of Brahma, of Lord Brahma, means 155.5 trillion, 20 billion years. He's sitting in meditation, merged in Brahmananda bliss, for 155.5 trillion, 20 billion years. Now you compare this with this Sandrananda, this bliss of a devotee who developed his pure love for Krishna. It is like a tiny fraction. You take a drop of the ocean, and from that drop you take a tiny, tiny portion. This is this bliss, Brahmananda bliss. And then what is the Sandrananda bliss of a devotee who loves Krishna? This is like the ocean. That's the comparison. You cannot compare. But these informations are given. So why we are hesitating? Everything is there, all perfections we find in this bhakti process, Krishna consciousness. This is why Krishna uses such strong words in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, he is the supreme psychoanalyst. There's Arjuna, he had some emotional problems, he had some psychological problems, he had political problems, he had social problems. And Krishna solved all the problems. Bhagavad Gita is such a wonderful scripture. All problems you can imagine are being solved in the Bhagavad Gita, simply by practicing Krishna consciousness and surrendering to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your